All right, welcome to Align Trading. Taking a look at the SPY here. So last week, as we talked about when we were headed down right here on Friday, we talked about this week and the bottom Bollinger and 5-day moving average continuing to trend down, and that there was likely to be a bounce down here to catch up with that 5-day as well as this 20 that you can see, right? That is starting to trend down as well as we are gravitating back towards it. Now we will come back to this in just a second, but you can see, right, crazy price action, right? Huge days, each of these in the week. Plenty of moves to take, of course, but the key here is this 5-day moving average, and we're going to talk about, right, you can see here on Thursday and Friday how we are starting to hold above this now. So if we look at the 30-minute chart, which we are currently in this algo right here, this buying algorithm, and with this you can see how we are holding this 5-day moving average, right? See that cup and handle right there with the orange, inverse head and shoulder, and this is that move that we are getting, right? You can see the controlled selling on the way up. So if we do, right, continue heading to this 20-day moving average right here and then start building, right, something like this, we can absolutely fill this gap right here and close that cup. Now from here, do the sellers step back in right at the 20 and start to bring us back down? You will have to wait and see, but this is what you have to be paying attention to so far, right? You can see how we closed the cup right here, right? And we're looking to build that handle, and we are currently doing so with this second cup. So now coming back to this 20-day moving average right here and the situation we are in, if we do revisit this, right, can we continue moving up and then possibly retest this 200-day as well, try to regain it or get a second rejection back down? We'll have to see. We also can still be headed down, right? So pay attention to this. You see here on the 30-minute chart, we have this green algo right here. And if we start to grab this with the head and shoulder, right, below this 5-day moving average, pay attention, right? You're going to see that first cup, second cup, and you will have another entry right here. If we do head back down, right, closing that cup again. And then if we do that, right, you can see how this will start to form right here. And we can continue moving down with the selling. Pay attention to this orange algo, right? You can see this orange selling algo. If it gets more aggressive, right, breaking out of the orange, right, you can see that here as well. So you got to pay attention. You can see it again, same algo, right? Aggressive algo right there as well. So if we start to see that, right, heading down in the orange, and then it starts to get more aggressive, you will see the dump. Now, with the increase in volume and volatility that we have seen, right, these much larger ranges during the day, everything is still the same, right, with our 5-20-day. Even going to the 1-minute chart, right, looking at the structure, very straightforward. Even with the big moves, it's just more opportunity, right? So you see this cup, right? You can see this handle, the same algo that's bringing us on the way up right there, right? Entry, here's another one. So with that being said, right, everything is still the same. You can also see right here, this inverse cup, right? We close the inverse cup right here. You can see that this handle does not break down. We don't continue seeing the selling algo, right? Oops, right? Got to continue seeing that. Seeing it with this algo right here, right? You can see that on the way down. And we start to form that inverse head and shoulder, right? Can't close the cup quite yet to get the breakout if you're chasing that. Not sure why you would be chasing right here, right? You need to see what was formed right there. And then again, right? More trades. You have this head and shoulder right there, inverse cup. There's that same algo for the handle that we just talked about, right? You can see it right here in the morning as well. Same thing, right? There's that algo, and If you're looking for it again, right? Cup closes right there. We're looking for this handle, right here. It's chopping, start breaking out. You don't see the handle. If you're looking for that low of day break. Now we are within this confined range right here, having your high of day and low of day breakout. It's a box essentially. So trade it accordingly, right? And then once you get something like this with this structure and that cup close, that is going to be the play. And then again, right, look at this controlled selling algo as we're talking about. We need to see this inverse cup close if we are going to head down, right, grabbing this liquidity like so. But right, you can see that this selling is controlled. Wait for that inverse head and shoulder, even if you took it up here. See that retest, and look, it's a wonderful trade. So just got to be paying attention to that, right? It's the same algo again, right? It's inverse head and shoulders forming right here. Can't quite close that cup again, but it is still a good trade. Still able to make a profit off of that, and then again, right? Looking for this handle, right? We gotta close the cup here, and it just never does. So you can also see with the 30-minute chart here and this algo, if you're looking for this right here, never breaking out of this. So pay attention to this on Monday if that does break. Like I'm explaining with the increase in volume and volatility, there are a multitude of trades that you can take. You do not have to catch every single one of these. Just one of these is sufficient enough to be a one and done for the day, essentially, right? As you can see here, I've been showing you guys the last few weeks. We don't have to lose on these trades. You don't have to overtrade, right? I did lose Monday, but the rest of the week, right? Smooth sailing. Just take those trades here on Friday. Same thing. I actually took this trade right here on the breakout, right? This was very, very clear to see, and that was my one and done trade. So, right, we closed the cup, we formed the handle. How are you not going to take that trade? It is beautiful, and you can see, right, after just 3-4 candles, you're done for the day. Now, over the last couple of weeks with, the change in events and the volume and volatility increase, I've been showing my P&L calendar along with my absence from the Discord, showing that no, I'm not scared. No, I have not quit. I'm still here every single day, right? Very, very consistent. And I'm just trying to explain to you guys, all you need is one trade a day, 2 trades a day, whatever that is, of your setups. And you don't have to sit here on the screen all day. You can take one single trade and call it. My trade was this cup and handle, right? As we talked about earlier in the video with this box, right? This price action. I don't see anything clear right here. I wasn't even at my screen for this one, right? This is a decent inverse cup and handle like I talked about, but here, right, I was waiting for this handle. I talked about it here. If it was able to form, it is not. So waited for that cup, right? Took this and one and done trade on Friday. Now, with all of that being said, and like I always try to preach, this is on you. This is your journey. Only you can determine your success and outcome. Someone else can guide you, right? My DMs are always open. I talk to many of you guys throughout the week. I'm just not in the Discord, right? I have my phone on me. Shoot me a question, shoot me anything you need help with or review, but it is ultimately up to you. So thank you everyone for watching. Please have a good rest of your Sunday.